Hey, this is Trade with Bands, and in this video, we're going to talk about none other than the world's largest uranium producer. I'm talking about Cameco Corporation, ticker symbol CCJ. Stay tuned for this episode of Wall Street Bets YOLO. Welcome back. Always like to remind you guys, our number one priority here on the Trade with Bands channel is to make you and the folks within the Trade with Bands community as much money as I possibly can. And I really do mean that. So, with that being said, we have absolutely no problem, and we actually have fun doing it. Finding the best names on Wall Street Bets, inside of Reddit, and digging down into that information, finding you guys the story, the YOLO, and the technicals. Let's talk about it. So let's go ahead and dive right on into it. I'm going to read to you guys from Reuters News the profile or the about for Cameco Corporation. Get ready. Cameco Corporation is a uranium producer. The company's operating segments include uranium and fuel services. The uranium segment involves the exploration for mining, milling, and the purchase and sale of uranium concentrate. The fuel services segment involves the refining, conversion, and fabrication of uranium concentrate, and the purchase and sale of conversion services. The company's operation and investment span the nuclear fuel cycle from exploration to fuel manufacturing. So again, we're talking about the world's biggest, the world's largest uranium producer. So when it comes to nuclear energy, these guys are a really big power. Let's go ahead and read an article from today from the Wall Street Journal. Shares of mining companies surged as retail traders from Reddit's Wall Street Bets forum focus their energies on the rallying radioactive metal. Companies tied to uranium in Australia and the UK powered higher on Monday, while US listed companies rose in pre-market trading. Meanwhile, Canada's Cameco Corporation has become the third most discussed company on Wall Street Bets, right after tech giants Apple and Alibaba. Now that's number 3, guys, and this information is according to Swaggy Stocks. New York traded shares of the uranium miner rose more than 4% in pre-market trading today. Uranium Royalty Corp also jumped 13% ahead of the opening bell. Recent posts on Wall Street Bets, the message board at the heart of the meme stock frenzy earlier this year, have put forward bullish arguments in favor of uranium prices and related mining stocks, complete with the forum's typical mix of memes and humor. One post on the site last week pondered whether there was a GME, that's GameStop for you guys, like opportunity in uranium. The Wall Street Bets activity follows a sharp price rise for the physical metal, used largely to fuel nuclear power plants. New York traded uranium futures have surged over 30% so far this quarter to $42.40 a pound. Huge purchases of the metal by the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, a newly created fund that gives investors direct exposure to the metal, have been a significant driver of the rally and have helped to tighten an already tight market, according to Andre Liedenberg, chief executive of Yellowcake. The fund, which trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange, has amassed almost 25 million pounds of the metal since it was first launched in July and bought an additional 850,000 pounds on one day alone last week, according to Sprott. The total mine supply of uranium was roughly 120 million pounds in 2019, according to the World Nuclear Association. The uranium market is quite a niche, and a small niche, but the interest I have seen from generalist investors have been much broader than I'm used to seeing in the past, said Mr. Liedenberg. A page on Reddit called Uranium Squeeze has attracted more than 13,000 members since it was created in February. Wow. It describes itself as dedicated to all the investors and traders passionate about the uranium market. Well, this is crazy. I mean, a couple things that I really paid attention to in this article was number 1, that CCJ has moved up to number 3 most discussed on Wall Street Bets. That's pretty huge. Then another thing, it sounds like these guys aren't playing. They might be trying to corner the market because it sounds like they're picking up a lot of uranium. So let's go ahead and talk about the charts, and let's talk about the YOLO.
So in my opinion, if price can go ahead and break up 26 to 26.50, then what we're going to do is we're going to push higher to the next level of interest, which is an area between 32 to 34. And if we can get or squeeze above 32 to 34, then I'm thinking we're gonna go ahead and push up towards 41. So real simple, just wanted to point that out to you guys. We can see it another way by taking a look at the quarterly chart real quick. You could take a look and see that this quarterly chart looks very nice. This is a huge bull flag pulled back. Now it's trying to push back higher. We have price trading above the upper boundary bands here on the quarterly chart. And I want to say all the way on down to the daily chart, to be perfectly honest. And you can see that. All right, here's the daily chart for CCJ as well. On the daily chart, if we're talking about this on a smaller time frame, what I'm thinking is that price could chop around in between this 26.50 to 23 level here for a bit. But what we really want to see is for price to move over this 26.50 level before pushing higher. So that would be the way that I would play it. And my chart time frame of choice would be the weekly. And right now, being that it's Monday, we only have 1 day priced into this. This thing could still be bullish. I would say keep your eye on the weekly open at 25.64, roughly 25.84. We're talking about a level here on the chart. So if we can get over 25.84, let's call it 26, then now we're putting that 26.50 level within sight. And again, like I said earlier, if we can get a clean close above that level or start trading above 26.50, then I'm pretty sure this thing is going to make its way up towards 32 to 34.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys listening to the technicals. Let's go ahead and talk about that YOLO. Before I get into the YOLO, let's talk about the options action on CCJ today, which was kind of crazy. Now, according to Thinkorswim and the statistics that I get from their website, what I'm seeing is that there were 275,000 calls roughly traded on CCJ today versus 39,000 puts. So that's on average of 6-to-1 calls. So you got to think about that. For every one person that's betting that this thing goes down, there's another 6 people that have done their research and feel like this thing is about to shoot up. Another thing I wanted to mention was that approximately 21% of the calls were purchased above the ask, and then another 53% between the market. So for the most part, that's about 70% of the overall calls today were purchased either between the market price or above the asking price. So that means a lot of folks are definitely trying to get into this thing. But let me go ahead and bring you guys' attention to the YOLO. So today I saw a $650,000 bet on CCJ. And if you stick with me, I'll let you know what it is. So at approximately 7 a.m. and 5 minutes into the day, somebody purchased 3,020 contracts at $2.15 of the October 15th 27 calls. Now, if you do the math, that's roughly about 650 grand. That's a big YOLO. Now, if this thing hits, which I think it could, because remember, we talked about that on the technicals, I think this could be a home run. So, with that being said, you guys take that information and do with it what you will. But, as always, feel free to leave some comments behind. Let me know if you guys want to see some other videos from the WallStreetBets and the Redis community. Let me know if you guys like this video by sharing some comments down below. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. And as always, 2 things. Patience pays and get more bands.